We could be in for a week of rough seas. From a Thursday, the hazardous seas alert was issued and it will now extend into Wednesday. Also, we have the 2020 fire season. We'll talk about that later as well. But first things first, for sea bathers, mariners and small craft, you're basically advised to stay out of the water with dangerous currents, large waves of 3.5 meters and a touch higher out in the Atlantic, alongside those strong winds. We talked about the hazardous seas alert remains at a yellow level, so monitor sea conditions as it has been extended into Wednesday at 2 p.m. Now you'll notice that the yellow color here is where we'll see most of the hazardous seas activity, but it does extend all the way out in the Atlantic and up the island chain as well. So for those of you around Mayaro, Manzanilla, going all the way up to Toco, and fishing villages such as Las Cuevas, and obviously the bathing areas such as Maracas and all of Tobago's beaches will be affected by these hazardous seas through Saturday and Sunday. Now, the main reason is that we have the strong winds out there in the Atlantic being pumped along by a strong Atlantic high pressure. And there is one buoy out there in the Atlantic, well west of Martinique. And this has been recording 4-meter waves and a 27 knot east-northeasterly winds. We could be seeing more of that wind continuing, as we talked about, through Saturday and Sunday, but the atmosphere remains fairly dry. So not much in terms of showers are expected, and any shower should be fairly brief. So tonight, mostly cool, just that brief shower during the early part of your morning, but the wind will definitely be the factor through Saturday, especially along those windward areas of Tobago, and you'll also feel the breeze even on some of those leeward sides, such as Buku and up towards Plymouth. Meanwhile, for Trinidad, eastern areas remain quite windy throughout tonight and into your early morning. Look for the breeze to push through Blanchisseuse, affecting those beaches that we talked about, such as Las Cuevas and Maracas, and all the way down through Mayaro and Manzanilla. Maybe a few brisk showers are expected first thing in the morning, but overall, you'll be seeing just patches of cloud alongside those windy conditions. Now, tonight will feel cool in some of those sheltered areas, maybe dipping towards those 22 degrees Celsius, but elsewhere with the wind around, looking at lows of 23 to 24 degrees Celsius, and a high tomorrow of 31 at Piarco, 30 degrees Celsius for Crown Point. Now, Sunday and Monday, it remains windy across Tobago and Trinidad, so be mindful about that. And that's the main reason the hazardous seas alert has been extended past Tuesday and will continue into Wednesday. So, as a recap for Saturday, those northeast to easterly winds of 25 knots, still strong, bringing very rough seas of 3 to 4 meters offshore, and those northeasterly swells of 10 seconds. Also be mindful there is the full moon, so during the high tide at 5 a.m. and at 4:30 p.m. it will be higher than usual. Now, across the Caribbean, there's also quite a bit of a breeze for the Greater Antilles, but not as strong as it has been across the Lesser Antilles. So Kingston, 32 degrees Celsius here alongside Port-au-Prince. And for the Lesser Antilles, there are high wind advisories in effect for St. John's and most of Antigua, as well as St. Kitts. And also there is also the high surf advisory as they go through this weekend. And that will also continue across the French Antilles, such as Martinique and Guadeloupe, as they go into early next week as well. So all the while, if you are traveling, be mindful of those rough seas around. Also, we have the fire season in effect for Trinidad and Tobago. Each year from December till June, you need a fire permit in order to light an outdoor fire. So get that if you are going to be burning any brush as you go through this drier part of the year. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.